Hi, you guys. Tonight we're going to talk about how I became very grounded. And before we get into this subject, I want to remind you that if you would like to book a spiritual counseling session with me to where I can help you in a sticky situation, give you guidance of other options that you may not have thought of, you could go ahead and go to the description box and you can see my website at loveistheonlywayministry.com where you could book a 31 hour and a 2 hour session with me and have a lot of more clarity on your situation. Other than that, if you wanted to also um, donate to the ministry, Love is the Only Way Ministry, you can also go in the description box. There's a Cash App, and you can donate there and help the ministry go forward. Okay, now how I became very grounded. It was a very, very long process. But in the end, I gained knowledge of no chaos, but peace, love, and happiness. And one of the ways I was able to do that was by all the things that had been through my life that was so bad. I was able to acknowledge that it wasn't, it was all that stuff, the good and the bad, made me who I am today. So instead of me thinking that that person's to blame, that person's to blame, woe is me, wounded warrior, survivor, all that, um I I was a survivor for a while, but now I'm not in survivor mode anymore. But the reason for that is because I gained a new perception when it came to um having peace in my life, because these years that I have, I mean, my birthday's today. Happy birthday to me, by the way. Um this birthday is my 50th birthday, and I mean, like, I'm a half a century old, by the way. And I know I don't look it, but yeah, it's me. I am actually 50 years old. Oh my goodness. So, anyways, through these years, like, I've been through so much chaos, growing up in my life and my adulthood, and in the last two marriages I have as well. I just got to the point to where I just didn't want any more chaos in my life, period. And I started completely turning to God, completely to the point of no return. So with God and the help of my ancestors and guardians and watchers and everybody else, ascended masters, and everybody else that's helping me on my journey, I was able to find peace, love myself. And when I finally started loving myself, that is the thing that gave me a lot of peace. And I started looking at things a lot differently. Um, there used to be a time to when I would work. I would get upset about any little thing that a person would say. I get offended. I'll get really, really bad at it, and it would get me fired a lot of times, or laid off, or to where I couldn't come back for the next season. And now whenever I work, I don't think of it that way. I've gotten this patience in my life to where the stuff that people try to put you through or want you to feel bad about, I just let it go over my head. And I call everything I went through lessons instead of was me, I'm the wounded warrior, all that kind of stuff. I don't blame anything on anybody else. I have accountability for everything I've been through, and I call them lessons. So everything good and bad that I went through wouldn't have made wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through the good and the bad, right, in my life. So because of that, I treat each day, you know, one breath at a time. I'm so grateful for the air I breathe. I'm grateful to be able to walk. I'm grateful to be able to wake up in the morning. I'm grateful to be able to talk. I'm grateful to do anything that God has given me to live. I am grateful for it. And because of that, my life has changed to the point to where peace is a complete necessity in my life. Um, and with along with that peace, I've gained confidence in myself as well, to where I can be the talker and speak up for God, to be the person to help, shape this world to bring heaven on earth the right way. So because of all that, I gained a lot of knowledge and situations, and to where the chaos just became nothing. The heartbreaks became nothing. So I was able to start detaching easily. So if I was to get involved with a guy, and they decided to play on me or whatever, I was like, okay, I'll just take myself out of the equation, and I just go on. So that was one of the things I was able to do. And I used that scenario. And then, when anything bad happens, any blockages get in my way, I can't find work or whatever, family issues or whatever, I just say, well, okay, whatever. Life goes on. I got to keep chucking along, because if I don't chuck along, I won't complete my purpose. And my purpose is to help bring heaven to earth the right way. And I'm going to do that because that is my purpose. Now, so by me doing that, I started getting more with nature and, being around animals and, stuff like that. And by me doing that and finding peace with the rivers and the mountains and walking, it gave me a sense of peace and clarity, and I'm able to hear better. I'm able to hear, and my intuition is on point. I tell people they get really weird when I say I don't lie, and I really don't. I don't lie. Lying is messy. I used to lie, but I found out it gets really, really messy, and I don't like that. So I have no reason to lie. So I don't lie, and I don't judge. I don't judge anybody. The reason I don't judge is because I put that person I put myself in that person's shoes, and when I find out their situation, I don't know what they've been through, but I also know I'm just as human as they are. And so if they was able to go through that being human, I know if I was in their shoes, I probably would have did the same thing. So why would I go and judge somebody else for something that I could have done myself? So I don't judge. I don't judge. I don't judge. That's just not me. I don't judge. I don't lie. And I don't tear anybody else down anymore. I used to tear people down. I don't tear people down. I only lift them up. I lift people up because that's what makes the world go round. Any little happiness in the world will make the world be better and harmonious, so that when heaven does come, it will be a smooth shift. So also, so since I've been through so many trials and tribulations in my life, I do have my masculine side and my female side. I had to stay mostly in my masculine side most of my life because my marriages, it was just nothing. I had to do everything in both marriages. So it was like I had to be the male, even though there were male counterparts in my life but they weren't for me. And I had to find out the hard way about that. Um, and also, but after I was able to learn those lessons and get out of that and block those people and be able to still go on and have a life, that gained more peace in my life, my mental stability that at first that I thought I had, which I really never had, because I come to find out I'm an empath. One of my gifts is an empath, so I feel other people's feelings. So when I did go into mental hospitals at the time, it was because I was feeding off my family and how they were feeling in the situation and other people surrounding me. It wasn't actually me that was having those mental episodes. It was actually me um, vibing off of desperate depression and all that, and it took a lot out of me. And I didn't know that's what the case was at the time. But yeah, I found out I'm a very, very strong person, and that the gifts that I'm having are growing and getting stronger and stronger as I go along. And so today's, like I said, it's my birthday. And what would be my birthday wish? So my biggest wish, oh, I wish. So I travel a lot. We're in Oklahoma City. You can't really find a job. I couldn't really find jobs anymore, so I had to go out of state. I mean, I went to Colorado for a while. I went to Montana. I went to Baltimore. I went to Corpus Christi. I went to Tennessee. I went to different places. But the last place I was at in Montana, I met somebody there who I guess I could say was the first. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say it in public. First time I laid my eyes on him, I fell in love with him. But he wasn't ready for me at the time. He still had a little growing to do. And I had to put myself out of the equation because I had to detach from something that would have completely ruined both of us. If I would have stayed, it would have been another karmic lesson going to hell. And I couldn't do that. So I had to get out of it. And I left Montana and came back home to Oklahoma City, where I'm at right now. But if that guy's watching me right now, my biggest wish would be if him and I could communicate again. I've forgiven him a long time ago. I still want the apology, but I have forgiven him, and I'd like to at least be friends. See where it goes, if he's up for it. So if he's out there, he know who he is. But I only dated one person in Montana, so he know who he is. Other than that, let's come to the end of this video. And I just want to lift you guys up to understand that life does go on and it can be happy. And I am here to help if I can help in any kind of way. If you're in a situation where you feel like you think it's a brick wall, believe me, I can help. I can help lift that wall and give you some peace and sanity so you can move on out of that obstacle and have a better life. So like I said, if you go to the description box underneath this video and you put in loveistheonlywayministry.com, you could go and book a spiritual counseling session with me, and hopefully I will be able to help give you the clarity you need to move on to have a more happier journey in life. And like I said, please like, subscribe, and join me in my journey. as I lift you guys up and conquer heaven on earth the right way. All right, you guys. I'll see you next time. You have a good night.